Hi people, I thought I'd do a quick video to say, because I was pondering the other evening why it is that I've kept in touch with one of my exes, but not any of the other of my exes. I think what it is the one ex that I still keep in touch with, who's called Lee, and I'm still friends with. I think the reason was that when I moved away from him in 2010, I moved to Catsdale, which is a small village in Worcestershire, North Worcestershire, near Birmingham. And where I lived, I started having problems with neighbours. The ones opposite me, they were teenagers basically. One of them whistled at me, and I looked up and waved at him. I don't know why I did that. That just encouraged. Yeah, looking back now, that just encouraged them. I looked up and I waved at them. And then from then onwards, I had it every night. I was there whistling, name calling, and at the time, Lee was the only one that says, "Oh, if you want to come back for until you can move back to Droitwich." But obviously, it took me ages to move back to Droitwich, so I was in between. Staying at Lee's, King's Court, and in Catsa, because obviously I would stay at Lee's, and then his support would arrive, and one or two of them was a bit stroppy about me being there. So I used to get up early and leave before they got there on some occasions. But that's it really. Because I have pondered on how it's unusual how I've only kept in touch with one of my exes when I've had quite a lot. Well, a lot, yeah. I mean, I haven't really been out of a relationship for more than a couple of months, since maybe the age of 12 or something. No, I haven't really been out of a relationship since about the age of 12 for more than a couple of months. So yeah, so I think Lee's I think the reason why I'm still friends with Lee is that he actually helped me when no one else did at the time. And it was very difficult because I can remember, yeah. But obviously it's not now. I'm just saying back then it was very difficult to sleep on the sofa of your ex. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's the only one that offered to help me at that time. Because I had neighbours. Well, it calmed down after a while because one of them, not the teenagers, but one of their uncles or something, or whatever it was. The older guy, I think he was about 40s or whatever at the time, or 30s or 40s, whatever he was. Yeah. He didn't give me any abuse. It was the teenagers. But anyway, he died of a drug overdose, and then after that, it did calm down. They didn't. They didn't say anything after that. Maybe that was the awakening that they needed in order to push down a bit. Because before then, they was having parties over there. It was opposite me. It was. I could see them having parties from my flat in Catshill. I could literally see them opposite having parties and stuff, and drinking and everything. And yeah, because they had the curtains open, and there was a man, maybe 18, maybe 19, and he would walk around he would walk around without a top on, and you could see his muscly chest and everything. You could see all his muscles, and yeah, um, yeah. I mean, living on my own, I had difficulty not watching. It was difficult not to watch him. So yeah, so it was a bit of name calling. It was a bit of flirting. It was a bit of, but I felt very intimidated at the time. Obviously, I don't now because I don't live there. But at the time, I felt very intimidated. I don't even know why I felt intimidated looking back. No, I don't even know why I felt intimidated because all there were was teenagers. But I don't mean younger teenagers, I mean older teenagers like 18, 19, maybe 17. Yeah. And as I say, it started off with one of them whistling at me, and I looked up and I waved at him, which I shouldn't have done. I wish I hadn't have done that now. But I was there for, it was taking ages for me to move. It took me about 2 years or something to move. So obviously I was constantly going back between Leeds and between Catsel, and it was a right pain it was at the time. And then I moved back to Droitwich. Yeah. And I stayed in a few places in Droitwich before I moved to Hanbury Road. In 2013 I moved to Hanbury Road. And then that got dissolved because what happened was the woman kept upping the rent, and a lady called Sarah, who was my advocate at the time, she rang up your move. I have to be careful what I say. That's why I'm trying not to use surnames. She rang up your move, and she had a go at them. And next minute, I had a letter from the landlady, saying that I'm being evicted from there. So obviously Sarah annoyed her. So, because I'm trying to give the backstory of what happened between me and Daniel as well, because we stayed with Lee, and the question is, why did we stay with Lee? So I'm trying to give you the backstory of why we stayed with Lee. Basically, because Sarah rang up your move, and she didn't shout at them, but she was very assertive with your move, very assertive. I would almost say rude to them. The next minute I knew the landlady obviously had a phone call from your move saying that my support or whatever had a go at them. So then the landlady decided to evict me. So I had nowhere to live at all at the time. Again, Lee says I can move in with him, and Daniel obviously moved in as well. But that only worked for so long because I had cats at the time and Lee had cats at the time. And at the time the rules were that you couldn't have animals, I think, in social housing. So I'm trying to give the backstory of why we was at Lee's at the time. And this is the reason why we was at Lee's at the time, because I didn't have anywhere to go, and neither did Daniel at the time. And then I was offered this place, Witchbold. Again, it took ages to paint it and do it up, and yeah. And then I moved in here. So the backstory is that neither of us had anywhere to live at the time. And the local council, a witch haven, took them maybe, how long? It must have took them nearly, say about 6 months, a year, before this come up. And it's quite a good flat. Yeah, I'm glad I chose it now. For a while I was a bit iffy because going from Hanby Road to social housing was a bit. Well, Hanby Road was quite a snotty kind of area, but at the same time, this is a very nice flat, and I've got used to it now. And I had issues around travel, but I'm having driving lessons, which is progressing quite well. Because when I lived in Droitwich, I didn't really need to learn to drive. There's buses, trains every 5 minutes in Droitwich. And also, living in Birmingham when I was younger, I didn't need to drive. I didn't really think about driving. Not, you know, I mean, Birmingham, the second biggest city in the UK. You don't need to drive, do you? And I was there till I was 27. I was in Birmingham till I was like 26, 27. So I didn't really, growing up, I didn't really think. I mean, I did think about it, but okay, I'm going to stop waffling on there. God bless, God bless, God bless.